prison, there are two ways out. The official way, the way everyone knows, and the one no one dares to talk about. But in April 2006, something happened that shook the system. A man convicted of murder simply disappeared. No guards noticed. No alarms went off. No tunnels were found. By morning, his cell was empty. All that remained was a wooden box and a secret that made every security measure meaningless. This is no story made up for thrill. This is the true story of Richard Lee McNair, the man who vanished from one of America's most secure federal prisons and walked out unseen. His name was Richard Lee McNair. To most, just another convict, serving life for murder. But to law enforcement, he was far more dangerous. A thinker, a strategist, a man who treated confinement as a puzzle and solved it. McNair's story didn't begin with the escape. It began in 1987, during a botched grain elevator robbery in North Dakota. He shot and killed a man named Jerry Thies. Caught soon after, he didn't fight. He studied everything. The officers, the process, the handcuffs, every detail, every glance, every word, a lesson. Later, he escaped police custody, slipped out of handcuffs using nothing but lip balm. Then he escaped again from a county jail, through ventilation shafts using handmade ropes. Each time captured, each time he learned, each time he became smarter, more precise, more patient, more calculating. By 2006, McNair was in one of the most secure federal prisons in the U.S. Penitentiary, Pollock, Louisiana. Concrete walls, razor wire, watchtowers, a fortress designed to break men. Escape? Impossible. But McNair had one advantage no one else did: time. And to a mind like his, time was a weapon. Every routine, every shift change, every oversight, he memorized it all. Waiting was his greatest ally. Pollock Prison ran like a machine, every movement timed, every door logged, every inmate watched. Hundreds of men, each trapped in the same routine, repetition creating invisible chains. To survive, you obeyed the system, or you disappeared beneath it. McNair chose the second path. Quiet, respectful, helpful, a model inmate, a shadow moving unnoticed. His obedience earned him a rare privilege: a job in the mailroom warehouse, sorting mail bags, labeling packages, moving pallets. McNair, he studied everything: the forklift schedule, blind spots, guard rotations, how shipments were sealed, where they went, who inspected them. And then, he noticed the crack. Every afternoon, a pallet of sealed mailbags, wrapped in thick industrial plastic, loaded onto a forklift, driven straight out of the prison, unchecked. No x-ray, no dogs, no visual inspection. And in that moment, an idea was born. Not a fantasy, a calculation. It began with measurements, tiny notes scribbled on scraps of paper, dimensions of pallets, weight of the mailbags, size of trucks. Then came construction, bits of wood, cardboard, and tape. He built what he called the Coffin, a hidden compartment, large enough for a man to curl up inside, concealed beneath dozens of canvas mailbags. Airflow tested, tiny holes drilled, a breathing tube camouflaged between the sacks, walls coated with glue and dust to mask scent from guard dogs. Every detail mattered. One mistake, and he would suffocate. One misstep, and he'd be discovered. Weeks of mental rehearsal, crawling in, positioning himself, breathing rhythm, stillness. He would become invisible. The prison would think he was still inside. April 5th, 2006. Humid Louisiana afternoon. The mailroom buzzed. Guards shouted. Bags were sealed. McNair kept his head down. Co-workers unaware this was his final day. 4:30 p.m. He slipped into the box, folded himself into the narrow space, heart hammering like a drum, pulled the panel closed, every breath a calculated risk. Minutes later, the forklift rumbled to life. The pallet lifted. Vibration through the wood. Sway of motion. 3 security gates. Guards laughed. Boots on metal floors. No one suspected a man was inside. The truck reached the outer yard. First time in years. Real air through tiny vents. Hours passed. Heat oppressive. Muscles stiff. Breath shallow. Night fell. Then, he kicked the panel loose, crawled out, brushed with sweat, bruised, disappeared into darkness. No violence, no alarms, no tunnels, just patience and a wooden box. By the time guards realized, the trail was cold. McNair stole a car, changed clothes, vanished into back roads, beard grown, hair dyed, fake IDs. Robert Jones, Larry DuPont, traveled across the US and into Canada. He kept a journal, not of crimes, but of triumph. Escape described as a correction to the system. To the FBI, he became a ghost. Invisible, untouchable. A man with no name, no pattern, no mistakes. Early 2007, Canada. A Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer spotted a car. Driver, nervous. License said, Robert Jones. Questions. McNair calm, polite. I'm a construction worker, passing through. Eyes locked. Tension hung in the air. Every second stretched into eternity. Then, the officer let him go. Hours later, wanted fugitive lists. Face on screen, Richard Lee McNair. The officer froze. Almost collapsed. 18 months. McNair lived like a phantom, always ahead, watching mirrors, moving like a shadow. A craftsman, not a killer. Obsessed with perfection. He sometimes revisited locations in secret, tested guard responses, observed patterns from afar, a master at patience and strategy. Early morning, New Brunswick, Canada. A man jogging, too alert, too careful. Officer questioned him. Scars, tattoos, confidence, every detail betrayed him, almost. Hours later, he leaned back, sighed. You got me. The ghost was caught. After 18 months on the run, McNair returned to prison. Today, Supermax Prison, Colorado. 24-hour surveillance, 2 life sentences. No mail rooms, no air holes, no patience to exploit. Yet his story, legendary. FBI, one of the most creative, non-violent, logistically brilliant escapes in U.S. history. Prison officers study it, human ingenuity pushing against control. So, what does it take to walk out of a maximum security prison? Not brute force, not weapons, not chaos, patience, a plan. Because sometimes, the most dangerous inmate is the one who disappears in plain sight. If you like this story, subscribe. There are more the world was never meant to remember. And tell us in the comments, criminal or mastermind?